Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining this show of today. My name is Joshua Econi and you're watching Joshua Econi Unfiltered. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for coming through. Please like, subscribe and share this video with those who you think should be seeing this particular content. But in a special way, we'd like to thank you so much for last week's amazing views and feedback. You guys commented and watched that video in a large number. But also we got a lot of calls following that episode. People telling us things that we did not know, especially myself. There's so many things that I did not know. That video, I did that video basically on a speculative basis. I did not know what exactly was going on, but I was just saying something looked to be going wrong. And for that reason, I got a number of phone calls from some of you to give me a lot of information, which I will be putting in today's show. But also in a special way, I would like to say thank you to these guys right here, the community spotlight shoutouts, to those who dropped more comments and engagement. And number one being Mawabeka. This is a gentleman from Arua. Thank you so much, Mawabeka. We also have Darwin Amute. He's also here as well, Darwin Amute. We have Paps. We have Steps Music. We have El Commandant Supremo. And of course, we have Aikobwa Peace. So thank you guys so much for being at the top of my community spotlight. And if you like to be on the community spotlight and get a shout out from myself, all you have to do is leave a comment on the video, on this particular video and another video that I've ever posted here. And your name will be read here as well. Now, today, before we start this show, I need to make a few things clarification. I need to make a few things very, very, very clear from the beginning of this show to make it absolutely clear to those who are watching this video. Is that last week, for example, we made a slight mistake when we said this show was this was a T.I.G show. This show was being organized by T.I.G, the Uhuru show at OPM grounds. Now we need to make this clarification that this show is actually for Richard and Brothers. So they are event organizers who have been organizing gospel music events for so many years. So they are celebrating their 20th year of organizing shows. And so this is not a T.I.G show. This show is for Richard and Brothers celebrating 20 years. T.I.G is just performing in this show. So let's make that absolutely clear. And of course, we spoke to Richard and Brothers, one of the representatives, and it's going to be, I'll play a snippet of the call I had with him and for him to explain actually what exactly happened here. Number two, something I need to make extremely clear is that we have gotten contact with the communication department of the bishop, that's the Right Reverend Dr. Charles Collins Andaku, the Bishop of Madi West Nile. We have gotten in touch with the media team who, in the next video, because we will be making a series of video on this topic, and so we have gotten the team to contact us, and they promised that they're going to give us an official statement from the bishop, which will maybe a video, an audio call, whatever it is, but they will give us an official statement. So the team already reached out to me. I also reached out to them as well to make sure that we clear the speculation before the shows of 9th October 2025. And so, yeah, in the near future, you'll have that. Another clarification I want to make very, very clear is this. Following that video that I posted, I got so much backlash from a section of people, especially some people in the media industry in Arua, the media personalities on radio. You know, radio is a big deal in Arua. I got so many backlash from some of them. I need to make this categorically clear that I am not being paid by any individual to utter the information that I'm giving you guys. Nobody has the capacity to pay me for information in Arua, not an individual, maybe an NGO, well and good. I'm sharing this because this is my calling from God to ensure that everything that is going wrong, anything that I see, I've been doing this since 2016 and stuff like that. I've always been a little bit controversial because I say things that nobody wants to talk about. So let me make this absolutely clear that nobody has paid me to do any of this coverage. I've had no contact whatsoever from the time I made that video. It's only now that I've made contact with the event organizers to have this information done. So those who attacked me with the other video, let me make this very clear to you that no one has ever paid me to give this information out. The second thing I want to say is this. I personally live a very modest life. I'm not complaining. By the grace of God, my life is perfectly well. And I need to make this very clear that I do not make any amount of money from these videos. YouTube has not monetized my channel, so I don't make any single coin from YouTube. I do not make any money from daily endorsements. I have no sponsor on this show. We used to have a sponsor with the other show. This one, I have no sponsor. So I make absolutely zero amount of money from doing these shows. Secondly, I get no publicity whatsoever. For those who know me, you know that I'm quite famous in my own accord. I do not need fame from making these videos. So these are the clarifications I need to make. I know it's been long making this clarification, but it's very important for you to understand the background of the information that I'm about to give, because the bombshell I'm about to give is quite interesting. So let me make this very clear that I do not make money from these shows. If I wanted, I could stop making them and I would still live a normal life. But I choose to do this because I have a calling to say things that must be said in this industry. The next point I want to say is this, that it is clear some media personalities in Arua have been contacted to downplay one of the shows that is coming on Independence Day. One of the organizers, one of the team of one of the shows has gone to media houses, has contacted people, and I'm going to give you all this information in today's episode. I'm going to name names, which of course are alleged. I'm going to give you names of people who have been said to have been contacted by one of the organizers of one of the shows of Independence Day, the gospel shows. One of them has gone to media houses, contacted the presenters and asked them to not play some music of some artists. So this information is going to be right here today. So let me make that clear, that some media personalities have been contacted and maybe have been paid or have been promised to be paid huge amounts of money at the end of this show. That is very clear. Another issue I want to make very clear today is that I have contacted Oneway Music, and I've contacted this guy for so many times, and the screenshot you're seeing on your screen, and some of them have the dates here. I spoke to Oneway Music, a couple of Mr. Eric Bayo. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and after that video was released, I called him and said, look, gentlemen, it looks like after I released that video, I had no knowledge of what was going on, but it looks like there's something going on, and I've gotten calls left, right from people who are saying that, look here, something's actually wrong, and this is the issue. So because the issue they say is between Oneway Music, Eric Bayo, and T.I.G, Chandia Jimmy. So I called Chandia Jimmy, he gave me his side of the story, and some other people also called me to affirm some of the things T.I.G told me. To this day, the last call I made at the point of recording this video was just yesterday. Yesterday evening, which I made another call. He has still refused to pick my call, to answer my call. However, he has appeared on some media house already, like Host TV, if you can see the clip I'm playing right now, but he has never chosen to answer my calls and to answer questions that I have for him as well. And finally, I need you to understand that I spoke to about 6 different people while making this video, and I have a long script which I can't show you. I have a long script detailing everything that I'm going to share today. I'm going to share with you today. But this information has come from so many sources in the gospel industry, by fans, by media personalities and everything. As a lot of them will be speculative, because I'll need to make this very, very clear. Most of these things are going to be allegations, because they are one-sided, maybe because Oneway has chosen not to speak to me and to us as Joshua Econi Unfiltered. So for that reason, whatever information we're giving here is as good as what we've received. So Oneway, if you're watching this video and your team, maybe it's high time that you talk to us, you call us for the side of your story. With that being said, I'm going to start this show without wasting any time. So let's start this from the very, very beginning. What has been the issue between Oneway Music and gospel artist T.I.G? So T.I.G, I'm going to say Oneway and T.I.G a lot in this video. Oneway Music and T.I.G because it's easy for me to pronounce the name. But whenever I say T.I.G, I am meaning Chandia Jimmy, the gospel artist. And whenever I say Oneway Music, I am meaning Mr. Bayo Eric. So these are the 2 people I'm talking about mostly in this episode. That is the clarification I need to make. So going back to the initial stage of what actually happened. So many years ago, back in the days when T.I.G was a big name in the gospel industry, and some of these gentlemen in the kind of gospel industry were coming up, sprouting up and stuff like that, we had, according to many reports, that Oneway Music, Eric, of course, Gospel Armor, and a gentleman of Hope to Reach, that is Lamech and Eric, and Philip, a gentleman called Philip, they were actually living together, including Jimmy, in the same house. And most of the expenses at that point were being cleared by Jimmy because he was already a big household name in the gospel industry. So all these guys were under his guidance to become very big gospel singers, as you can now see today. Now, because of that, people started stabilizing in that group, and they started leaving the house that T.I.G was paying. And this included Gospel Amma, he left. Lamech of Hope to Reach left. Philip, also known as Gamil, he also left as well. And the last person to leave, according to reports, was Oneway Music, that is Eric Bayo. So he was the last gentleman to leave the house of T.I.G. Now, one of the reasons he left T.I.G's house, of course, was because T.I.G got married to his wife. And then for that reason, Bayo could no longer live in the house. I'm not sure if the house was smaller or for whatever reason, but he decided to move out as well. And because of that, he went and lived at a place called Safin 96. After a while, because Hope to Reach formed itself, now Hope to Reach had Lamech, Hope to Reach had Oneway Music, now Eric. Hope to Reach had Philip, who is called also Gamil. He's a producer, a very known gospel producer. Now, issues started happening with this group. So we got information that Oneway Music, or Eric Bayo, was being accused of some things that I cannot even say on this episode, because they would either cause legal actions or they'd cause issues that he can never recover from. And for that reason, he was requested by Hope to Reach to sit aside for a while, as they kept understanding, as a punishment for him to sit aside the group as they figure out how to solve these issues and how to clear the name. This is according to the information I've received. So instead of Oneway Eric sitting away, patiently waiting for this resolution to be made, what did the gentleman do? He said, no, I'm not going to sit. I'm going to open my own music label or my own music group, and I start singing as Oneway. So Oneway Music was birthed, or it was given birth to, after Hope to Reach sat down Bayo Eric from the accusations that he had already had. So many of them, once again, like I've said, I won't say any of it here, but I can tell you most of the issues, some of them are very, very, very graphic that he did, that he was being accused of. And so in those moments, T.I.G felt that because Oneway was removed from this group, he needed to be closer to Oneway, because he was staying with Oneway Eric for a couple of times. He knows so many information about Oneway Music, even the backgrounds and stuff like that. He knows a lot of things about Oneway. And so for that reason, he said that information that he knows, he doesn't want to leave Oneway alone. So he became close to Oneway. By Oneway actually at some point producing some of his songs in the studio of T.I.G. About 5 of Oneway's music, the first ones he began singing, some of them were produced in the studios of T.I.G. And also some of them, actually T.I.G had his voice in those music as well. And this information, again, is going to be important at a later time. So I want you to keep that information very, very well. Remember, T.I.G, according to reports, was staying with Oneway, was feeding Oneway, was doing so many things for Oneway when he just came to this scene in this industry. Now, how did this whole thing become an issue? Why did T.I.G and Oneway Music, why did these guys break up? Why did they have an issue? Now, if you ask many people, they have different theories. Many people in the gospel industry have many theories why these guys probably went their separate ways. However, 2 very important reasons actually came very clear. Now, one of this information, one of the reports is that, from a very credible source by the way, one of this information is that Oneway Music started hearing some of his personal issues out there in the public. And so he claimed that T.I.G, who knew so much about him, was sharing some of his personal issues, which some of them I told you here, that may be graphic. Some of these issues, he claims that T.I.G was sharing this information with the public. That's what he claims. That's one of the reasons Oneway Music probably got so pissed off that T.I.G was spoiling his name, he was telling his stories to other people. That's number one. The second issue that actually we've also received is that at the points, like I told you previously, where Oneway Music now started producing his songs, when he went now independently from Hope to Reach, he started making his songs in the studios of T.I.G. But then at some point, rumors say that one day Oneway came with a glass of water or a cup of water, whatever it is, into the studios. And for someone like me who has worked in studios all my life, in radio stations and TV stations, liquid is not a very good friend to the studios. And for that, many radio stations actually avoid anyone from entering with liquid, especially in an open container, like a cup, like a mug and stuff like that, or tea and stuff like that, or juice. Many radio stations do not accept for presenters to enter to studio with the liquid. And so this particular day, it is claimed, it is alleged, that Oneway went inside with with a cup of water. And so when T.I.G also came back in the studios, he stepped on this water and spilled on the floor. And so T.I.G started rebuking Oneway, telling him, boss, look here, you can't come to studio with water. It might tamper equipment and stuff like this. And so Oneway felt very offended. It looks like from the way this information was delivered, maybe Oneway did not take it very well. Maybe he felt that he was being disrespected, or this information came a little bit in a way that he did not like. Maybe the T.I.G shouted or delivered this information in a very wrong way. I'm not sure. But the information is that from that day, Oneway left the studio of T.I.G and never came back again, never spoke to T.I.G again from that moment to what we're feeling to this day. So those are the main two reasons that looks like were the reasons why T.I.G and Oneway broke up. So those are the two possible scenarios. Before I continue, if you're liking this video, all I ask you to do is to leave a comment of your opinion in the comment section below. And also, if you love this video, please give me a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to my channel to ensure that we can reach to YouTube monetization section. But also the fact that you leave a comment, maybe you will appear on my community spotlight, and I will be able to read out your names to those who appear on my community spotlight. Maybe like I did in this particular video at the beginning of this show. For every other next videos that I do, I will be able to read some of your comments. So please feel free to drop your comments below in the comment section as we move on with this show. Now, from the time that Oneway now left T.I.G after that studio issue, Oneway then moved to stay closer with the Angwaliga. These are still allegations. I can't stress this enough. These allegations, and that Oneway moved to stay, not live with him, but he became close with Angwaliga. That is the gentleman who is the lead singer of J-Hope band. So after that, they formed a prayer group, the prayer group that I talked about in the last video. They formed a prayer group where they were saying that as long as you're not in this prayer group, you are probably not doing the right thing in the gospel industry. And some of the people who we are singled out in the gospel industry was T.I.G and Gospel Armor, that they were possessed by demons because they didn't pray, because they didn't have the blessing of God and stuff like that. That's why the guys actually were not in that group. So maybe that's what they think. Remember last week when I told you that T.I.G ambushed the group of prayers and said, if you people, you should pray on us. It looks like Gospel Armor was also as well in that day. So Gospel Armor, it looks like Gospel Armor and T.I.G ambushed the prayer group of Angwaliga and the Oneways and the rest, and said, guys, look here, if you say we are possessed by demons, why don't you pray for us? You get the point. Because why this was very important, why these guys, I think, decided to do this was important, because a show was organized at Zina Wenyewe, a gentleman called Tamukati Events. So he organized a gospel show where he had T.I.G, Oneway Music, Gospel Armor, CVG, and Hope to Reach, and some of the other gospel artists as well, to come and perform on the same stage. It is alleged that Oneway said he was not going to perform on that concert as long as T.I.G and Gospel Armor were on the poster, because he was not comfortable performing with people who do not have the Holy Spirit and are possessed by demons. Now, it might not come off as possessed by demons, but just they were not godly enough to be singing alongside the same stage. So that was at the point when these guys said, you know what, we're actually going to go to this prayer group, let these guys pray for us, something like that. So this was one of the things that happened. Now, in February last year, because now there was a reconciliation move by AGA. AGA is Arua Gospel Artists Association. Now, AGA decided to do a meeting to settle this issue. Now, this meeting was held at White Castle last year in February, according to the reports that I've gotten. Now, this meeting had T.I.G, this meeting had Oneway, of course, this meeting had CVG, this meeting had Hope in Reach, this meeting had other gospel artist witnesses to come and, try and understand what exactly is going on between Oneway Music and T.I.G. And what happened in this meeting was very interesting. Now, T.I.G claimed that he had no issues with Oneway. He's not sure where he offended Oneway Music from. And most of the issues, Oneway is not coming very clearly to tell exactly what happened. So that was the side of T.I.G. However, Oneway, when Oneway spoke, when he was given a chance to speak, Oneway spoke in a very, very lengthy time. And he was expressing himself and his issues with T.I.G, saying that he was, first of all, not being supported enough. These issues happened, blah, 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 blah. Some of the issues that I mentioned previously, he mentioned some of these things. How this meeting ended was very nice because then, according to reports, both of these gentlemen came down and said, look here, let's forgive ourselves, mediated by the other gospel artists. They came and said, no, you know what? Let's actually forgive ourselves. So they went and forgave themselves in this meeting. That was how this meeting actually ended. By the way, if you're still watching this video, just so you know, you can like, subscribe to my channel, and also share this video and leave a comment. If you leave a comment, you get into my community spotlight where I'm able to give you shout outs on the next show, like I did at the beginning of this show with those who were at the top. I had people like Mawa Baker, who were my community spotlight members. So I read their names at the beginning of this show. You can do as well, drop a comment, your opinion so far of what's going on, and then we'll be good to go. And also, it makes me to easily monetize this YouTube channel for me to make some bit of money from this YouTube channel as well. Now, let's jump straight into the concert planning. Now, of this particular event of Uhuru 2025 Independence Day, 9th of October, what actually happened? Let me take you back a little bit as well. So about last year, last year, a Local Econi concert was organized by Hope to Reach, this group called Hope to Reach. They organized a Local Econi concert last year. And from that concert, immediately, I think they made some bit of money, which according to reports, they used that money to buy some equipment for the musical journey. Because remember, for example, the other gentleman, Philip, is a music producer, Gamil, that is a member of Hope to Reach. And of course, immediately after that concert, Lamek got married. Lamek, who is one of the members also of Hope to Reach, he got married. And many people, of course, claim that he got money from the Local Econi concert to get married, which we're not sure. But that was a report that the gentleman got married. However, I think there were some financial burdens, which I'll explain shortly. But because of that reason, he said, you know what, because I have some financial issues, I want to organize a show next year, which was this year on Easter Day. Now, once he said that, in the pipeline, Oneway Music was also organizing his concert. He was also planning to have his show on Easter Day of this particular year, 2025 as well. He had already even booked a location of Santa Maria, Hotel Santa Maria. Well, the other side, HS Courts was being booked by Lamek and his group of Hope to Reach. This other side, Oneway Music had booked Hotel Santa Maria to have his concert on Easter Day. So you had two clashes of shows, two shows on Easter Day of this particular year. Now, a quick meeting was organized by AGA, the body of gospel artists in Arua. AGA is Arua Gospel Artists Association. So they organized a meeting. This was last year in October, around October, to harmonize both of these shows. Now, when this meeting happened, they asked both of these gentlemen, Oneway and Lamek and his group, and said, look, Lamek, why do you want to organize a show on Independence Day, so that we see whose reason is more valuable at this particular point for us to have the show? So they had an amicable meeting. Now, Lamek said the reason he wanted this show was because he had run through some financial challenges following his wedding. And for that reason, he needed to get money to clear some of these loans that he was having, which was seeming to be a very genuine reason. On the other hand, when they asked the gentleman Oneway, why do you need to organize a show? And this is probably the first time that I will agree also that Oneway had a bit of genuine reason as well. So Oneway Music said, Eric said, the reason he wanted to organize his concert is because he has been with Hope to Reach. Now he's now an independent artist. He has never made money from this industry of gospel. So it was right for him to organize his own concert and also make a bit of money from his efforts, which all are legit. Because if you look at these things, Hope to Reach has organized a concert, Gospel Arm has organized a concert, T.I.G has organized many concerts, and some of these artists have organized their concerts as well. So it was just sensible for Oneway to actually have his show organized as well, his concert at that particular time, for his concert to be organized as well. So these were the reasons. So a resolution was made that, you know what, both of these reasons actually sound very, very genuine. Both of them are good to go. Both of these guys actually are worthy to organize their shows. However, because to avoid confusion, to avoid people going to different venues, because they are big two names, remember also one was a member of the other one, to avoid clashes and issues, let these guys have a joint concert on Easter of 2025 this particular year, and then they share the proceedings or the proceeds and the money they share equally among themselves. This was the resolution that the group made. Both of these people agreed. Oneway Music, Eric agreed. Hope to Reach agreed that this was the resolution they were going to have going forward. They were going to do a show together. One of the first steps that happened was that they went, Oneway and Lamek went and actually cancelled the booking they already had at Santa Maria Hotel. They cancelled the booking and said, you know what? We are now going to do a concert together. We don't need this location going forward. However, according to rumors, according to reports, I'm not sure if these are true, and this is why I needed to speak to Oneway Music to find his side of the story. And so according to reports that about 1 month into the organization of this joint concert, Oneway started picking calls of Lamek. He didn't engage with him, he didn't pick calls and did stuff and just went mute and quiet. One of the reasons that he gave for going silent was that he still wanted to do his show independently. Now, in this period of time, Oneway did not mention when he was organizing his show. The team had already accepted, you know what, we're actually getting off. We're now having a show alone. Lamek, Hope to Reach were having their show alone. Oneway did not give exactly when he was actually going to have his show. So meanwhile, during this whole time, I think, because I spoke to Richard and Brothers, and I'll give you the side of the story, they were already organizing the show for Independence Day for the next year, which was this year, 2025. So let me give a brief understanding of who Richard and Brothers is. I spoke to Richard and Brothers on phone, and I'm going to play the audio for you guys shortly after here. Now, Richard and Brothers has been organizing gospel shows for nearly 20 years. They started way back the times of J-Hope Band and stuff like that. And they say for them, this is like a calling for them to preach the word of God, but in this manner. For them, they're able to only organize shows, and even if they don't sing the songs active themselves. So they decided to say what? We are going to organize shows. So for about 20 years, they've been organizing shows. Now, Richard and Brothers say that because of the organizers, they used to organize shows literally every single public holiday in Arua. As long as there was a Women's Day, they were there. Easter, they were there. Mention them. They were organizing shows every single public holiday. Now, because of this, some gospel artists raised the concern. I said, look here, man, gentlemen, you're always organizing shows for yourself and you're only paying us a small amount of money. And maybe it's high time you also give us time for us to be able to organize our shows on some of these other days, and then you can take a few days in a year, but allow us to also take some of these public holidays to organize our private shows for us to make money, big money as well. So according to Richard and Brothers, he says for the past 3 to 4 years, he made a decision with his team. Now, when I say Richard and Brothers, of course, I only spoke to one person, but now this person represents the whole of Richard and Brothers group. So I'm going to reference to this person, but I mean Richard and Brothers as a whole team. Now, Richard and Brothers says that for the past 3 to 4 years, they have only agreed to organize shows twice a year. The first show being Independence Day and the next show being on Christmas Day. That's why I'm going to reference to you why this Christmas Day is very important just shortly. So they agree that they will only do 2 shows in a year for these 2 days, and the rest of the other gospel artists can now organize the public holidays they can use to organize their other concerts as well. So let's just quickly listen to what Richard and Brothers said to me on the phone on this audio, and then I'll get back shortly.
Well, Joshua, my group Richard and Brothers, man, those go to organize this is the early career in the Fizu Vade. Moku that you those New Year's, Christmas, at a Moku back to school organizing day. But now, today and really, or go back and really na to so. May reduce the Udu as a command so Yazra. Hadna all ya Kodanako, reason man Yazore, artist him could another concern as a resikin Udu as a this or Yalani Avenue.
Yenning of a first word
Aku New Year, Aku Easter. I are down the relay, it is okay. Matokadi Mudu as a Kayura. Canada in a year as a promoter, Madiso yet twice. Christmas. That's my stand. Man, really bad. Go for this. As a man, team repair. I can never put you as a country.
But the artist, my group, Afa Aga, the Malia can do.
No, Mamma, me down there, and the method that the plan of written a brother Malia. Because method the whole Aga is big, and the method is the Western like and Koro came at shower to do so only with the Medenico. Because Mavu the Mungo for money, Mungo Maya look record this. Manga Manongo come over my promotion. Yamaka is Kiji. Telling that to list water like me, not in Christmas letter. Maniso area was at Santa Maria. There was a South Heritage organized by artists. The same with the Uhuru.
Alete ni anjir ma sende medo anjir ki buki yonze pe buki mwedria around the elajer mbango
like artist mani bukeli de hur ke mo anjir ma sende ke elajer mbaro se. Mama azer ko mbam du de elajer wa. That is the booking I did for this year for Uhuru and Christmas. Yeah, that man that organizes because I do my things early. I was in my favorite yeah. The Mahabra did and I cannot get back. The matter if my care like us is cure money hierarchy. That is cure at one way the money I hope to reach it. Okay, I hope to reach it. I talk through one way. About 10 minutes, I got a card at least my Hamana, my involved Christian and brother, and Christian brother has been in the system for gospel before even these other ones. Then on everyone, the artist has a life, if Lima is organized, their career, he has the right, also, she has the right to organize in a Taraskola Karamiako, Aladra Yafako, Mandala free. Akaumia, like a example, Akaumia Hursiko, capacity to organize yourself. He gave me Bamina Europe, if I'm not having money, Bamana Europe. And it has been like that. Tell me your letter Christmas. Kalela as I heard I was at Santa Maria. Mini advertise.
So you can hear here as well. So according to Richard and Brothers, because they knew they are only organizing 2 shows in a year, they started paying some artists their booking fees as early as last year in August. I spoke to one of the gospel artists who are on this poster of this Uhuru Day, Independence Day poster. He told me Richard and Brothers paid him money in October of last year, 2024, to appear on the show. One of the gospel artists. That's what he said. So he says that he actually started booking artists early because now he knows he only has 2 shows. Even for 2026, according to Richard and Brothers, he says he's already engaging people for the next year's event because he knows he only has 2 shows in a year on particular days, and so he starts booking artists early. So he says he has actually started speaking to some of the artists of next year. This is exactly what the gentleman said. Now, why is this information very important? It's because now, last year on one of the shows that Richard and Brother organized on Christmas Day at Hotel Santa Maria, according to reports, Oneway Music appeared all of a sudden, just abruptly. Oneway appeared with branded T-shirts at the event organized by Richard and Brothers. Remember, Richard and Brothers, for about a few years by that time, was already organizing 2 shows in a year. One of it was clearly happening on Independence Day. But Emma Macario, last week I played for you a video of Emma Macario talking about these issues. Now, Emma Macario, that MC whose video I played saying that maybe there were issues between these 2 guys, Emma Macario was the MC of that particular event. So according to reports, this gentleman Oneway appeared with T-shirts all of a sudden. He had not remembered from the issue of October meeting after him 1 month later not appearing to work together with Lamek. He had not given any time or date of him hosting his concert. He just appeared on this Richard concert and announced with T-shirts, started giving out T-shirts, wearing T-shirts, and gave it to the MC, announcing officially that he was having his concert on Independence Day of 2025. Now, according to Richard and Brothers, he says he has no issues with people organizing their shows. It has always happened where he has a show and another person has their show as well. But this one particularly, he is asking, why is it causing issues as he had on his call? But ladies and gentlemen, the reason this issue is becoming an issue is because of T.I.G and Oneway having a public outburst. So as you can see right now from this whole thing is that there was already planning by Richard and Brother to have their concert, but Oneway also said he also wants to have his concert on Independence Day. And I'm going to give you later by the end of this video exactly what actually the next clashes that happened. There are actually other clashes that happened following this particular time as well. Now, let me get you straight into the media manipulation. How Oneway, according to reports, of course, which he has not defied. So these are completely allegations of what we've had. But of course, once again, Oneway, we would have this discussion if only you picked my calls, because I'm far from you, you're far from me. The only way we can have conversation is to speak together on a phone call and stuff like that. But before I give you that information, I kind of ask you to leave your comment so far in the comment section if you're enjoying this. The chat is busy right now. I can see a lot of people actually writing in the chat their opinion. So I kind of ask you to also join them as well, give your opinion of what you think and blah, blah, blah. And we we'll be good to go with the information. So please get to the comment section, drop a comment, write something interesting, like the video, share it with those who you think must be watching this video right now. Get the link and share to other people who must watch this video. Now, let's get into the media manipulation. Now, according to reports, Oneway Eric reportedly contacted some presenters. These presenters of media houses, the names have been given to us. It is claimed that these people were contacted by the team of Oneway Music organizing this concert to decampaign the other concert of T.I.G. Now, like I mentioned, I have screenshots of one of these people, I won't mention who, contacted me on the inbox on WhatsApp after I posted the other video, told me indeed they were contacted to downplay the concert of T.I.G., which of course is, a show of Richard and Brothers. One of these presenters actually go to me, and you know who yourself is. Also, there are rumors, of course this one, now this didn't come from this other gentleman, but there are rumors that the team from Oneway Music insisted that music of T.I.G, Gospel Arm, and the rest of the guys should not be played, should be shut down for a moment for this concert. Again, these are reports. One person very close, very close to Oneway Music told us that Oneway Music actually called him and said he had planned and talked to media houses to downplay the music of T.I.G and to decampaign the other show for his to work, just like they downplayed the music of Monopoly Bad Character. Yep, let that sink in. Immediately, I picked my phone and called Monopoly Bad Character. I said to him, boss, are you aware that something like this is going on? Monopoly said, by the way, maybe, he's not sure, he's not gotten this information that his music has been downplayed. He feels maybe his music has had a low playing list one of these days, but he cannot confirm or deny this information. So he's not sure. He told me he can't give me any response. But this was the information that we got from this very close person of Oneway Music. If you're liking this video, all I ask you to do, leave a comment as we speak right now of what is going on. Give me your opinion. Even me, some of these things I'm saying, I'm also shocked at them as well. So if you're enjoying the show to this moment, all I ask you to do is please leave a comment so far of what's going on, and also like the video. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. We're at about 1,500 people right now. If we can get this to 600 people, that would be amazing, or even more, that would be amazing. But also because if you subscribe, if you watch my videos, if you drop comments, I'm able to see you in my community spotlight. And for those who started watching this show at the start of this show, as you can see, I actually did a few shout outs to those who appeared on my community clearly. I was able to mention their names, so I will do that as well. And also the comments, some of the comments, I'm going to be able to read them as well as time goes by. I'll be able to read some of your comments in the next coming video, so please drop the comment and I'll be good to go. The chat is busy, I know so many things, crazy things are being said right now, but all I can say is this is the information I have that I received, which are allegations until Oneway is able to call me and we'll have this conversation as well. Now, what is the current situation now? What is now going on at the moment? The current situation is that Oneway Music is organizing his concert at Heritage Courts with a guest of honor being the Bishop Charles Collins Andaku, the Bishop of Madi West Nile Diocese, as of course the guest of honor. Meanwhile, Richard and Brothers is also proceeding on to have his concert organized alongside T.I.G at OPM Grounds, also on Independence Day as well. So as I end this video, initially by this year's arrangement, on Easter Day, Oneway Music and Hope to Reach were supposed to have a joint show together. Then a gentleman by the name of CVG was supposed to have a concert on Independence Day alongside T.I.G and his things. If you liked the music of CVG, you'd go to CVG without a lot of commotions. This was the arrangement. And then on the 1st of January 2026, which is next year, T.I.G was supposed to have his concert also, where I'm told according to reports, he had already paid people and stuff like that. Now, since the change of plans, where Oneway has refused to have the joint concert and has moved his concert to Independence Day, CVG has now been forced to move his concert to the 1st of January of 2026, where T.I.G is supposed to have his show. And I'm told a flyer for this show was released by March of 2025 this year. By March, the concert flyer for 1st of January is already produced, and it's the flyer you're seeing right now, which by the CVG sent to my inbox. He wanted me to do for him something, and he put this to me. So this flyer, according to reports, was sent by March of this year. So clearly, there might also be a clash on the 1st of January 2026, where T.I.G might have his concert, and the CVG might have his own concert as well. So we might anticipate a concert clash. So what do I say at the end of this thing? This is my very last statement I'm making on this video. What I'm saying is this, gentlemen. There's a clash going on. There's confusion in the gospel industry, which is directly affecting the church. And I'm praying that church leaders can come down, harmonize both of these issues, get these guys to sit down together, understand what is going on. And I know very much Bishop's team is watching this video as well. If you're watching this video, my humble request to you is to reconsider your thoughts. Reconsider why you have to go to this show or why not. Have a way forward, like I said in the previous video, have a way forward to see that both of these shows go on amicably without the church being separated. This is my opinion sincerely. And I can say the next video is also going to happen. I might get Oneway if his final calls me after this video. I might speak to T.I.G. I might speak to other people, but I already promised to you that Bishop's team, communication team, is already willing to speak to me. So they'll send me either a video or a call, whatever we shall agree to do. I'll bring it to you here as well. So there's so much going on. And the best I can say is please stay tuned to more of this. And I thank you so much for joining me until the end of this video. It's been very, very long, but I want to thank you so much. But also remember to leave a comment. Remember to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel and to ensure that more of this investigation can be done for us to bring out the truth of what's going on. And also for you to appear on my community spotlight where I'm able to share shout outs to you guys. So don't worry, we'll be good to go. Thank you so much. This has been Joshua Econi Unfiltered. My name is Joshua Econi, and I'm so happy that I was able to give this information. Let's meet again on the next video. Until next time, bye-bye. I am out of here.